Welcome to Lesson 2, Phonological Awareness, Phonemic Awareness, and Phonics. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define phonological awareness, identify at least 4 phonological awareness skills, recognize the developmental sequence of phonological awareness skills, differentiate between phonological awareness and phonemic awareness, differentiate between phonemic awareness and phonics, and understand why reading alphabetic languages requires phonemic awareness. In the 1990s, Dr. Hollis Scarborough used pipe cleaners to create what she would call a reading rope, a model that is still used today to convey the complexity of reading. Scarborough's reading rope identifies the many skills involved and displays how they are interconnected. Phonological awareness is identified as a key component in word recognition. So, what is phonological awareness, and why is it needed when children are learning to read? If we want to be understood when we talk, our spoken language must be rapid and continuous, so we co-articulate or compress sounds together. As a result, spoken language is a constant stream of sound. This spectrogram is a 2-second recording of the English sentence, "I can see you." As you move from left to right through time, you will notice that there are vertical black lines, and therefore sound being produced, throughout the entire 2 seconds. Reading in an alphabetic language requires that individuals learn to match letters to the individual sounds that they hear. But how is one to know what those sounds are, and where one sound ends and the next sound begins? Learning to distinguish between sounds in spoken language is a must if you are going to learn to read when an alphabet is involved. And that's where phonological awareness comes in. Phonological awareness can be defined as the awareness that spoken words can be broken down into smaller parts. Words can be broken into syllables, syllables can be broken into onsets and rhymes, and ultimately, individual sounds can be recognized. At that point, letters can be connected to the sounds, and one can move forward with reading. But there is a second aspect of phonological awareness. As their skills develop, individuals become able to blend, segment, delete, add, and substitute the smaller parts of language. In other words, they develop the ability to manipulate or play with those smaller parts of words. In their book ABC and Beyond, Building Emergent Literacy in Early Childhood Settings, Elaine Weitzman and Janice Greenberg share an example of developing phonological awareness in the preschool classroom. Pause the video while you read the following excerpt. Two things come to mind each time I read that paragraph. First, the wordplay inherent to phonological awareness has the potential to spark humor and creativity in your classrooms. Enjoy the fun along with your students. Second, Maya's ability to isolate the first sound of muffin and to substitute the first sound of juice demonstrates her developing phonological awareness skills. Maya is well on her way to learning to read words. When reading skills do not develop as expected, you may seek assessment by your student support teacher, speech-language pathologist, or psychologist. Phonological awareness is one of 3 phonological processing skills that may be responsible. 2 other skills are phonological memory, or one's short-term memory for sound, and rapid automated naming, the student's ability to rapidly name colors, common objects, digits, or letters. Of the three phonological processing skills, phonological awareness responds the best to intervention. Now let's take a look at the different tasks that demonstrate phonological awareness. Many thanks to Julie Van Ulst at Make Take Teach for her umbrella graphic organizer, showing clearly that phonological awareness is not one skill, but many. The umbrella handle separates the skills based on the size of unit involved and the age that children typically acquire the skill. The larger the unit, the earlier the skill is acquired. From this point on, when someone refers to phonological awareness skill, be sure to ask, which one? The skill on the far left of the umbrella is segmenting sentences into words. An example would be teaching students to clap once for each word in the sentence, I see a puppy. There was a time when phonological awareness was defined more broadly, and segmenting sentences into words was thought to be a useful pre-literacy activity. However, research has demonstrated that there is no correlation between that segmenting sentences ability and future reading skill. Therefore, counting words and sentences is not recommended as a phonological awareness activity and will not be discussed any further in this module. Evidence-based practice can take a long time to make it to the classroom, so you may continue to see resources and programs that include sentence segmentation. Side with the research and resist using class time to teach that skill to your students. Throughout this module, I will use the color of raindrops to indicate the status, so to speak, of the phonological awareness skills. To be clear, I have not done a thorough review of all the scientific literature. Rather, I have reviewed a number of recent books and publications written by prominent professionals in the field. In my search, I found agreement regarding the importance of some phonological awareness skills, and, not surprisingly, there is disagreement regarding others. A dark blue raindrop, as I have used for counting words and sentences, will indicate consensus that teaching and practicing the phonological awareness skill is not recommended. A raindrop with a blue-orange color gradient will be used to indicate ongoing debate, because the data is either incomplete or contradictory, or because academics disagree on the interpretation of the results. For one skill, I use the color gradient raindrop to indicate that past practice needs to be updated. Be clear why you are teaching these skills, and watch for more data. A raindrop that is solid orange will indicate consensus that the skill impacts word reading ability and therefore should be explicitly taught. One's awareness of syllables can be developed in two main ways. One is by blending syllables together to make words, as in this example. A second task is to segment words into syllables, as shown in this example. Teaching these skills at the preschool level continues to be recommended, but research results are now calling into question the need to teach syllable-level skills in the kindergarten classroom. In 2018, Gail Gillen published her book, Phonological Awareness: From Research to Practice. She noted that few studies had directly investigated the relationship between syllable awareness and success in either reading or spelling. Studies that have been done provided conflicting results. One suggestion is that syllable awareness may be more important in languages such as Spanish that have a high frequency of multisyllable words and a well-defined syllable structure. Gillen concluded that identifying phonemes or sounds in words is more beneficial than bringing children's attention to syllables in words or awareness at the whole word or sentence level. Earlier this year, the document Teaching Phoneme Awareness in 2022, a guide for educators, was released. It was written by Jane Ashby, Marion McBride, Shira Naftel, Lucy Hart-Paulson, David Kilpatrick, and Louisa Cook-Motes. They wrote, "Teaching syllable awareness may be helpful during the first weeks of kindergarten and grade 1, but teachers should begin instruction that focuses on phonemes, or sounds, as soon as possible. Phoneme awareness in early kindergarten is the single most important predictor of reading skill at the end of grade 1. In contrast, syllable awareness does not predict reading skill." Activities that include segmenting words into syllables continue to be valid for preschool children. However, I've used a color gradient on this raindrop to suggest that teaching syllable awareness in other grades and with other groups of students may need a shift in thinking. Kindergarten teachers, consider minimizing the time spent on syllable work and move quickly to focus on sound level skills in your classrooms. Syllable level activities may be a reasonable starting point for struggling readers and for children who don't pronounce unstressed syllables. For example, those who say pooter for computer. Older students who have difficulty reading multisyllable words can be expected to benefit from segmenting long words into syllables. We will talk about appropriate strategies in a future lesson. By 4 years of age, children typically have the ability to recognize rhyming words and can answer this type of question. 4-year-olds can also detect alliteration, or words that start with the same sound. Alliteration awareness can be measured by picture sorts, like this. Listening to nursery rhymes and sorting pictures based on sound during the preschool years may help to develop the more advanced sound level skills that we know impact reading ability. In her book, Speech to Print, Louisa Motes includes rhyme matching and rhyme judgment in both her suggested preschool and kindergarten programming. Absolutely, enjoy the songs, the books, the poems, and the fun associated with rhyme. I have still chosen to give rhyme and alliteration a color gradient raindrop. Here's why. Ashby and her colleagues were asked the question, must rhyming be mastered before instruction moves to individual phonemes or sounds? The response was, the tasks associated with early phonological awareness are only moderately associated with early reading and spelling. Learning to be better at them is not necessarily going to lead to proficiency in what really counts. It is the ability to say the individual phonemes, or sounds, in words that enable kids to read and spell in an alphabetic writing system like English. That is what instruction should focus on, especially from mid-kindergarten onward. Gail Gillen includes rhyming activities and intervention programming for 3- and 4-year-olds. When intervening with 5- and 6-year-olds, she reminds the reader that although teaching young children to recognize and produce rhyming words is often a useful first step, teaching rhyming skills should not be the major focus of the intervention program. Rather, the program must progress to activities that improve the child's phonological awareness skills at the phoneme level. As alluded to earlier, incorporating rhyme into programming adds fun and can be a source of early success. In their 2014 book, The Intensive Phonological Awareness Program, Melanie Schewel and Naomi Murphy begin their intervention program with the task of rhyme. Not because it is an essential skill for reading and writing, but because it is a good place to begin intervention. Children who have poor phonological awareness are often very reluctant to engage in phonological awareness instruction. They have figured out that these activities are difficult activities in which they experience a lot of failure. But because it is easy to get children to experience success with rhyme, The IPA program begins with rhyme and then moves to more difficult tasks that require children to isolate individual phonemes or sounds. Onset rhyme awareness is present when one can separate a syllable into the initial consonant or consonants and the remainder of the syllable. For the word ham, is the onset and am is the rhyme. For the word skip, sk is the onset and ip is the rhyme. This skill is related to rhyming because changing the onset gives you a rhyming word, as in less and mess. I have made this raindrop color gradient for a couple of reasons. First, you will need to decide if and when to teach this skill. I feel that teachers tend to teach the next skill, isolating the first sound, to the whole class, and then use manipulatives and visuals to assist struggling students in small groups. Keep onset rhyme activities as one more tool in your toolbox for those students who need scaffolding. Second, the concept of onset rhyme might be in the process of being absorbed by isolating the first sound. Some people feel that the two are essentially the same skill. In a 2015 presentation, Louisa Moats considered onset rhyme to be a skill separate from initial consonant isolation. In a 2020 presentation, onset rhyme was not present in her benchmarks chart. This may have been a typographical error, or it may represent a shift of onset rhyme activities into the realm of sound level awareness. Most recently, Ashby and her colleagues stated that onset rhyme activities can help emergent readers and struggling readers in two ways. First, by helping children learn to judge if words rhyme, and second, by providing a first step for identifying individual sounds in spoken words. Schewel and Murphy use onset rhyme activities extensively in their work in the Intensive Phonological Awareness Program. By age 5, most children will have acquired the early phonological awareness skills. This will have occurred gradually and with little assistance other than exposure to language, books, and perhaps wordplay. Now we've reached the handle of the umbrella. The area to the right of the handle represents an important advance in phonological awareness skills. Those entering this phase now develop an awareness of individual sounds or phonemes, so this group of skills is referred to as phonemic awareness or phoneme awareness. Acquiring these new skills will support every individual who is learning to read in an alphabetic language. This level of awareness includes the ability to isolate the first and last sound in words, to blend 2 or 3 sounds together to make words, to segment short words into individual sounds, and to manipulate sounds in a variety of ways. Let's look at the developmental sequence for phonemic awareness skills. The development of phonological awareness skills is positively affected by exposure to reading and reading instruction. The developmental sequence chart shown here is for American children, where reading at least 2- and 3-letter words is expected by the end of kindergarten. Therefore, the ages given here may be lower than the ages that our students develop those skills here in Saskatchewan. Still, we can use the ages as a general guideline. The phonemic awareness skills are highlighted in yellow and orange. By 5.5 years of age, most children will be able to answer the question, what is the first sound in mop? By age 6, when asked to guess the word b, a, t, they will blend the sounds together and say bat. When asked what sounds are in the word sun, they will segment the word and respond s, a, n. By 6.5 to 7 years of age, children will be able to substitute and delete phonemes. Substitution sounds like this. Say cat. Now say cat, but say instead of k. Deletion sounds like this. Say feet. Now say feet, but don't say f. We can look at skill development based on the school year instead of age. The skills that are printed in blue are all phonemic awareness skills. By the middle of kindergarten, children are paying more attention to individual sounds, and they can segment out the beginning or final sound of a word. By late kindergarten, more complex words are being segmented and blended back together, and by the beginning of first grade, children can segment and blend words that contain consonant blends. The manipulation of large units, like the deletion of syllables, can be observed in kindergarten, along with the deletion and substitution of the onset and rhyme. Deletion of final consonants and the first consonant of blends at the beginning of words is observed in grade 1. There is almost unanimous support for the teaching of phonemic awareness skills in preschool, kindergarten, and grade 1. There are debates that continue, though, like the value of phonological awareness activities for older, struggling readers and the value of manipulation skills. Schuell and Murphy advocate for the teaching up to and including the skills that are critical for reading, that is, blending phonemes into words and segmenting words into phonemes. These authors do not include manipulation tasks in their intensive phonological awareness program. David Kilpatrick, author of Equipped for Reading Success and creator of the 1-minute activities that require substitution and deletion, agrees that blending phonemes and segmenting words into phonemes are the critical skills. He states that working on manipulation tasks leads to blending and segmenting skills that are effortless and automatic, so that they lead to great decoding and spelling. More importantly, the automatic skills allow orthographic mapping, the process of automatically connecting print to sound so that the words in print immediately conjure up the word pronunciation and meaning from our memory. In A Personal Communication, Kilpatrick wrote, "We have numerous research studies where children participated in oral segmentation and blending tasks along with phonics instruction, and their reading improved between 6 and 10 standard score points on nationally normed word identification tests, typically 7 to 8 points. However, studies that involve phonemic deletion and substitution tasks in their training, along with phonics instruction, tended to have between 10 and 25 standard score point gains on those same types of nationally normed tests, typically 14 to 17 points. Throughout this lesson, I have referred to the term phoneme numerous times. Let's take a moment to ensure that you have a thorough understanding of this important term. A phoneme is an individual sound in spoken language. Phonemes can be defined as the smallest unit of language that can change the meaning of a word. It can be a vowel, a consonant, or a digraph. For example, changing I to A in the word pin gives us pan. Therefore, I is a phoneme. Removing K from skip gives us sip, so K is a phoneme. And changing P to TH gives us think, so the digraph TH is a phoneme. There are over 100 different phonemes spoken around the world. The English language has just over 40 phonemes, while Hawaiian and other South Pacific languages have around 12. A phoneme may associate with one letter, as is the case with the letter S, or it may associate with 2 or more letters, as in the cases of CH and OUGH when it is found in the bough of a tree. The digraphs CH, TH, SH, and WH are each one phoneme. Blends like TR, BL, and STR contain more than one phoneme. Phonemes are represented by virgules, or 2 slash marks, along with symbols that are part of the International Phonetic Alphabet. The IPA symbol may be the same as the letter, as is the case with the phoneme for S, or it may represent several letters. For example, K in virgules represents the sound of the letters K, C, and CK. In some cases, the IPA symbol looks nothing like the letter. Vowels can be particularly confusing. I in virgules represents the long E vowel, while E in virgules represents the long A vowel. If you don't know the International Phonetic Alphabet, it's probably best to use quotation marks and alphabet letters to represent phonemes. Let's talk for a moment about accurate pronunciation. It is critically important to pronounce phonemes correctly, with no added vowel at the end. For example, pronounce the phoneme for M as and not M. The phoneme for K is pronounced K, not K. Other phonemes to watch for are N, P, T, and F. The importance of using a sound field system cannot be overstated. Projecting most consonants across a classroom leads to distortion. This develops inaccurate neural pathways in developing brains. When speaking to groups larger than 6, give your teacher voice a break and use a sound field system. This will ensure that accurate neural pathways are set down for the phonemes of the English language. As we have already discussed, one of the critical phonemic awareness skills is segmenting words into phonemes. Let's segment the word cat into phonemes. We can use Elkonin boxes and these orange tokens to help. K, A, T. Great! There are 3 phonemes in the word cat. Let's try some more. Remember to say each word slowly and stretch it out to hear all of the sounds. You likely don't have tokens with you, so you may want to tap each square of the Elkonin boxes to assist with the segmentation. After segmenting each word, run your finger under the Elkonin boxes from left to right and blend the word together again. If you find the segmenting task to be particularly easy, take on the role of teacher and imagine that you are working with a student sitting opposite to you at a table. Try segmenting the words from your student's perspective, moving tokens, but starting on your right and progressing to your left. Pause the video now and segment the following words: ash, cape, box, and shoelace. So how did that work for you? Do you think you heard every sound? Let's find out. There are 2 sounds in the word ash: a, sh, ash. There are 3 sounds in the word cape: k, a, p, cape. There are 4 sounds in the word box: b, a, k, s, box. And there are 5 sounds in the word shoelace: sh, u, ul, a, s, shoelace. Let's summarize what we know about phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is the ability to distinguish between and manipulate individual sounds in spoken words. Phonemic awareness is auditory. It's generally done without reference to letters, although making the sound-to-print connection is increasing in importance. Phonemic awareness skills are a strong predictor of successful reading in alphabetic languages. Assistance with phonemic awareness improves word reading skill. And phonemic awareness allows you to segment spoken words into sounds, blend sounds into words, and connect print to sounds via orthographic mapping, which allows us to build a bank of thousands of sight words that we recognize automatically. Phonemic awareness and phonics are often confused. Let's see if we can straighten that out. Phonics is a method of teaching people to read by correlating sounds with letters or groups of letters in an alphabetic writing system. In preschool and kindergarten, phonics is really letter-sound association. For example, B says B, as in bed, ball, and balloon. In grades 1 and 2, phonics expands to include work on letter combinations. Students learn that OW says ow, as in cow, now, and how, but it can also say O, as in low, toe, and mow. Phonics is similar to phonemic awareness in that they are both considered to be one of the 5 pillars of early literacy and reading instruction, as determined by the National Reading Panel in the year 2000. Here's the instruction in phonics, and here's the practice. So what is the link between phonemic awareness and phonics? The rapid pairing of letter symbols with sounds requires that children are already sensitive to the individual sounds of words. Phonemic awareness needs to develop before phonics is taught. I love this graphic of the 5 pillars of reading, with phonemic awareness situated at the foundation of the building, representing the importance of teaching phonemic awareness before expecting phonics to make sense. I have added an excerpt from Louisa Moats. She says, "Perhaps the most critical and least practiced component of effective early instruction is phonemic awareness. Awareness of the sounds that make up spoken words, facility at manipulating those sounds, and the links between speech and print must be mastered for students to be fluent readers and accurate spellers of an alphabetic writing system like ours. Phonics and spelling instruction may not make sense to students unless they are developing a fairly high level of proficiency with phoneme awareness." That was a lot of information presented in a short period of time. Let's recap Lesson 2. Many children will develop phonological awareness skills on their own without formal instruction. Identifying which children will struggle with phonological awareness is difficult, so program for class-wide phonological awareness instruction in preschool, kindergarten, and grade 1. Phonological awareness skills are not created equal, so be specific regarding the skill that is being targeted. Counting words in sentences is not recommended as a phonological awareness activity. Activities in preschool that focus on early phonological awareness skills at the syllable, rhyming, and the onset rhyme levels may heighten awareness of phonemes and spoken words. Establishing routines of wordplay is a bonus. Exposure to nursery rhymes may help develop phonemic awareness skills. Instruction on isolating the first sound can begin in preschool years. Phonological awareness instruction in kindergarten and for struggling readers should advance to the phoneme level as quickly as possible. Blending phonemes into words and segmenting words into phonemes are the critical skills needed to decode and encode. Orthographic mapping is the process of gluing print to sound in the brain, allowing immediate recognition of words in print and giving access to word pronunciation and meaning. Debate continues regarding the need to develop manipulation skills, the provision of phonemic awareness activities to older struggling students, and the inclusion of letters in some phonological awareness activities.